See, I am on a hunt for wellness warriors of all ages. What is an athlete? Okay. First of all, do you have to play a sport? No. Now, follow me here. Do sports help with the neurological component of coordination, motor skill, physical strain, physical ability? 100%. But that's not defined by a ball. Do you understand? I need people to start understanding this. Because when we truly wrap our brain around the fact that a sport is just a sport, okay, your performance will improve just by that. What if I tell you that? What if I tell you your train of thought, your way of thinking defines your performance? Because it literally does. It's science. The neurons, the motor planning. It is science, guys, to control the brain in itself from a wellness perspective. Okay. In itself is tough. Now, the wellness model of an athlete is the normal one on steroids. That means you have to put in more work than the normal person to do the thing you love, whatever functional motor aspect it is, because I don't want you to think about it as a sport. All I want you to do is think about it as motor movement, right? Yeah. As an athlete, okay, as an athlete, you have to put in more work than everyone else. And you have to know that going in. You have to understand that sometimes your body is not going to move like other people's body, and that is okay. However, a true athlete wants to know why. That is what I'm looking for. Wellness warriors that want to know why. They don't necessarily want me to fix it that day because that's not going to happen. It's not until you truly, and I mean from a family perspective, I mean from a therapist perspective, overall, you will not get better unless your brain is 100% into it, 100% devoted to whatever you do. But what if, as an athlete, we do not just train our body? You're training your brain anyways because the sport is forcing you to do that. But what if you knew that control? See, I think there's untapped potential, untapped performance just by neglecting the feeding process for a couple of the months. You know, when you really break it down, okay, your wellness model, we can go into multiple different aspects of it. Um, because to me, I needed something that had categories. My brain works in categories. Okay. So an athlete needs to understand that they have categories that they have to fill. And a wellness warrior, what does that mean? It means a warrior is someone who gets up, they fight. They fight, they know how to have grit because they have earned it. Because grit, see, I thought grit is something you developed. No, 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 no. You can't just develop grit through hard. You have to mentally know you are pushing yourself to the limit. You have to push when all you want to do is pull. You have to push. Keep pushing. Do not call. Do not stop. Find the purpose. There's more. And if you're an athlete, and if you ever hear this, know I love you. No matter what, what skill you're performing, whatever you're doing, it, I follow you because you show me, you light me inside, like that fire. You know what I'm saying? Like you show me. So here, here's a tidbit. I know I'm getting off topic here. Shocker. Look at social media, okay? Because I've been struggling with this one myself to really embrace, you know, not to cower down, not to push forward. I did my first little introduction of Kelly Newman on live. It already had 100 views. That's insane. That's more than my little phone's getting without publishing, without adding it on. Should probably sit still long enough to do that, but I'm not. Instead, I'm enjoying life and I'm talking and understanding how I feel. Do my neighbors think I'm crazy? Probably, but that's okay. Please let your freak flag fly. Why are we so like determined to just be eh, right? Conforming. We don't conform. My dear friend Chastity's words go in my head that you cannot conform. You can't, because when you conform, you hide some of the most precious gifts God gives you to stand out. Don't hide those. And if you are a child, that light, energy, I need you to harness that. Never lose it. Never lose that. Life's going to want to pull it from you. Don't. You push. You push when it pulls it from you. And take. You take. I've seen so many kids. Oh, I've seen more kids this summer because I went there. I went because I wanted to know. So, as an athlete, if I want something, I go get it. I didn't have the answers to teach. So, I went and found them. I didn't know myself why things were working. They were actually helping. So I went and did the science research behind it, and now I have answers. Answers that I myself, as a clinician of 14 years, am now just seeing, connecting. But I feel like we're always connecting. And when we fully connect the pieces, it's like Mama Helm said, you really do get to embrace and understand eternity. That itself is a miracle to me. to understand that, to fully embrace, to understand there is truly someone looking down on us. Because I do. I believe that 100%. There is not one thing now that would ever take that from me. Because that not only is how I have learned to survive, but that is also what gives me hope, what drives me when no one else is running on my cylinders, you know? But you can make a difference in your actions, in your words. Now I'm starting to understand scriptures and why we want to have a testimony, right? Why we have to spread the word of God. Okay. I've heard this my whole life. My whole life. It was drilled into me, drilled to the point where by college, even though God's grace is what got me to that, I didn't see it at that time because freaking 18. What 18-year-old frontal lobe is developed enough to see that? But if we can get them to understand, they don't understand because they're not thinking a certain way. That that's tricky. But to understand that if you go, because kids are following these days, guys, kids are following hard on YouTube. I rather my kids give my kids access to something like to anything that just has my people on it. You know what I'm saying? Like that my athletes can share with the younger athletes because your girl knows a crap load of athletes. I just don't know where they all are. Like, come find me. Hi. Maybe that's what I need to do. See, there's so many different parts and it's a great process, guys. It's a great process. So the wellness model, you can see this is see scientists figured out that when you start talking about the spiritual connection, people turn off. And then their point is no longer relevant. So scientists had to dig, as most do, to prove. Because people, it's our human nature to ask questions. God made us that way. Guess what? That's a scientist. hmm I cannot say that enough. My realization of this is now being preached everywhere because you cannot design something so intricate, so unbelievably chemical, molecular, physical, physiology, like something so complex. And that's created the true happiness for that model, for that biology to thrive requires some other components: air, oxygen, breathing. So many of your kids take a really deep breath only when they have their sport. Did you know that just by doing that stimulates something so neurologically sound? To embody that, to understand But those aren't just there just because. They were given to us to understand these scientific data of understanding our body. Is fascinating. Just the normal physiology, just the normal, what's supposed to happen in our body, not the patho. I'm not talking pathophysiology here, just normal. Are all in us. See, as a as a physical therapist, see, I only for years, you appreciate the wellness model and you understand, yes, this is our overall goal, that's our gold standard, but then you got patients walking in left and right that are so off from the gold standard. You have to work individually on each thing, each joint. Why? Why? Why do we wait? Why don't we go and understand it now? Fear, a knowing. Yeah, I wanted to show leadership, but I didn't know how to lead. I want to show so many different aspects. And I feel like my power is increased, but only I am now seeing only when you truly embody all aspects. This is hard. This makes it even harder because then you look at times in your life and you may have not fully embodied that, right? Because we all have those times. We all have those times. We're human. Ask God for forgiveness. Step one. Understand. No, no, no. One, understand you are accountable. Two, understand it was a mistake and that you have to understand that you make mistakes, but it is not okay to make mistakes. No, no, no. It isn't. It is not okay to purposely make mistakes. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Those are your words for today. For anyone that will ever hear this, that probably won't ever happen. But I have faith.